All right, everyone. Welcome to our weekly SIG release meeting. I posted the link to the agenda in the chat, so please add yourself to the list of attendees. And I also would like to remind you that this meeting adheres to the CNCF Code of Conduct, which basically means that be mindful what you said and be excellent to each other as usual. We also need a note taker for today, so I would appreciate if one would volunteer for that. And as usual, we would like to welcome any new attendees. So do we have anyone on the call who is new to SIG Release and who would like to say hi to us?
I'm not new to SIG Release, and I'm not actually sure if this is the right meeting to bring up the open discussion, but I'm Nina. I've been on the release team, but this is my first time attending the SIG Release meeting. So hi, everyone.
All right, I have an issue. I can't hear anything, so I'm pretty sure that is related to my setup. So let me just double check. 1 second. All right, now I should be able to hear something. Let me just reshare the screen. Okay. So let's move on to the release engineering topics. So I can probably provide an update to that. So from a patch release perspective, we released the patch releases last Wednesday and also updated Case.io yesterday. So this was a bit late, but now everything should be up to date. And we will also go for end of life for Kubernetes 126 this February. So we will we can consider another release next for March, but 126 should be end of life pretty soon. I don't think we have anything related to the OBS packages. I also can't see anyone from release engineering on the call right now. The same would apply to the supply chain security as well as the artifact validation. Our main goal was to provide something like a survey, but I'm not exactly sure what the current status of this is. The survey has not been published yet, but maybe we are just in a negotiation phase with contributor experience to get it out. All right. Any further comments regarding release engineering? Because if not, then we can move on to the release team. Do we have one from the release team who would like to provide us an update about it?
Hi, I'm here from the release team. We have 66 enhancements tracked post-freeze, which is a lot, but not alarmingly huge, but it is a lot. We got 6 exception requests. All of them were minor and relatively low risk. Actually, most of them were related to a missing new question in the PRR questionnaire. So mostly a day or two on the extensions. We did get an exception request like yesterday, which feels like way too long after the freeze, but all they were really missing was tags. So we did allow it, but we've added a retro item to discuss the possibility of adding a deadline to exception requests like that. Because that's a little bit messy to manage if we allow that to continue for too long. The mid-cycle retro is scheduled. It is next Wednesday, and it is on the release calendar for everybody to look at. So please come and help us discuss these things because we've got a lot on the mid-cycle retro for things we want to try to tweak moving forward. That is it for the release team, though.
Awesome. Thank you for this update. Do we have any further comments regarding the release team or the release cycle? All right. Thank you for that. So with that, we are at the bottom for our recurring topics, and we can jump directly into the open discussions. Nina, you want to speak about the release notes AI tool?
Yeah, so I think I'm the only one from release notes, but this was something that the group had discussed. Basically, there was a Slack discussion about how we can improve the release notes drafting process, because currently, if anyone's unaware, it's like very manual. You run the CLI, you go through each like YAML release note and check it for spelling errors, format it correctly, make sure the punctuation is correct, make sure the tense is correct. So a lot of this, there's like a couple of things that can be done to improve it. And I know in the past it's been brought up, can we add like some kind of automation to make it better for the release notes team to like interface with this? And I think that the two ideas that were brought up in the Slack discussion are either having well, like you can do both of them, but having a VS Code plugin to help with the formatting of the YAML, making it easier to edit. And then the other thing is having some automated, like either GitHub workflow pipeline or other like workflow that would catch common issues with tense, like grammar, punctuation. So I guess I don't know if this is the right venue to bring this up, but we prototyped like a workflow, and I tested it on Orlin's latest release notes PR. I can send that in the chat or in the link as well. But where's here it is. Yep. So this is like the example workflow, but I know in the past there's been like discussions about is GitHub workflow secure? Like this isn't running on Kubernetes, but it's like still running on SIG release. So I don't know if that's something we want to add to the SIG release repo, if there's like a better way of doing this. Or if people had any other suggestions, because I know for me personally, like this was my first time on release notes, so I don't know if like people have been on the release notes team and seen other like issues with it and have other ideas of like what to do that's not maybe like GitHub workflow related, but other automation that we can do. But yeah, so I guess, does anyone want to chime in? I can also send the example workflow that I ran, or like I'll send the actual workflow code. And then if you go into actions, you can see it run. I think this is like a first draft for it. So it's not really like ready to merge in, but it's just something that we were testing. So right now, there's a couple of things that it's doing. It's using the Codespell GitHub Action just to do like a grammar check. And one of the issues is like we need a good dictionary of words that are, Kubernetes approved. So that I think the dictionary is coming from one of the open source libraries, just like a file of text. But I couldn't find one that's like maintained by Kubernetes. So like that's another thing, like maybe SIG release can maintain like a dictionary of words that we know aren't misspelled. And then what else? It's checking, it's doing a YAML linter, but I think actually the CLI workflow enforces YAML. So like you can't actually like open the PR with invalid YAML, so that doesn't really do as much. It just checks that each sentence at the end has a period, which is like relatively straightforward, but and it checks the tense based on the Python NLKT library, I want to say. So it like that I don't know if it does a very good job on, because it's catching things that I think like shouldn't be in like are correct, but like it like raises them because of like something else in the sentence is like past tense. So there's still going to be like a manual process to like validate, but yeah, a lot of improvements to be made, but like that's kind of the direction we're thinking of going.
Yeah, that looks really awesome, honestly. Even if we can, especially since the tooling landscape changed so rapidly in the past years, I think we have now a huge amount of great tools we can actually utilize to enhance the release notes. So I can just propose if you have something in mind, and we can just try it out and just give it a try, and we can discuss it. Funnily enough, there was an enhancement, like I can post it in the chat, on 2020, where I kind of proposed something like a machine learning classifier for release notes. So the idea was to give some feedback back to the actual author of the release note, if it's good or bad, so that we can establish something like a feedback loop to tell others, hey, you can improve your release notes. We can tell you how, something like this.
Yeah, I think that would also be very helpful. Like the current workflows, like post, like everything's already been collected, right? But I think having a feedback loop is also very important because people keep writing like release notes that don't necessarily make sense or have like errors in them, unless we have like the loop to give them feedback, like this is what you should do differently.
Yeah, really great. I really like the enhancements related to that. I think it's the right time to go for it and add more like intelligent data or intelligent tools on top of our existing data and improve the release notes. So that's spot on from my point of view.
Is there any opposition in doing it? Oh, sorry, I think there's a hand.
Hello there. Yeah, actually, I just joined the meeting and came across you guys discussing about the release note issue and NLTK integration in it. Am I audible? Hello. Yeah. So, actually, I work in machine learning and I have been joining Kuberentes meeting like since past release maybe 1-2 months. And if you guys need any help with the NLTK or NLP thing, I have been working in that space since last like 1 to 2 years. So I would be really happy to help with the particular thing. Please let me know any particular issue or something. I would like to look into it and possibly help with. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. If you want to take a look at the current like workflow, it's very rough. But I can also send like you can reach out to me on Slack and I can send like what the current process is and what we're looking for in terms of like crafting the release notes PR. I just opened the Veil like workflow, and that actually looks really useful because one of the downsides is with the current workflow, it doesn't open comments to like indicate what line the issue's on. So that like is one thing that I did want to add.
Yeah, we can definitely go for it. And with my so far understanding, we are using it with the GitHub Actions, right? We are integrating analytic or some Python script into the GitHub Actions.
Yeah, so that's
what we do?
like kind of what I wanted to make sure everyone was on board with, because I know in the past there's been some pushback against GitHub Actions. So since this is in the SIG release repo, I think it's fine having a GitHub workload that runs there, right?
Could you please confirm where this conversation goes on and Kubernetes Slack release notes channel, right?
Yep, there's a thread in the release notes channel, so if you want to comment on there and say that you're interested, I think like it would be great to get extra help on this.
Sure thing. Thank you so much.
Awesome, thank you. So I guess this can get some momentum now. If you need anything from SIG release, like if you think that's too big to handle in an iterative process, so we should outline it as a Kubernetes enhancement or something like this, then just feel free to reach out and we can get things rolling.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
Awesome. Any further discussion topic or anything related to the release notes? So, because if we're not, then I will give you around about 20 minutes back, or more than 20 minutes, around about 30 minutes back. Thanks for attending. Enjoy the rest of the day and see you soon. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.